Lincolnshire, England, where the ghosts of World War II are thought to still patrol the abandoned runways and derelict control towers. Once known as Bomber County, this seemingly tranquil landscape harbours dark secrets and restless spirits from its days as the epicentre of Britain's aerial might. The bomber airfields we're about to explore were the front line in the Second World War, just as the trenches were in the First World War. Imagine a county transformed, with nearly 50 military airfields sprawling across its terrain, more than any other in England. Here, 80,000 brave souls from the Royal Air Force and Allied nations took to the skies in mighty war machines. The thunderous Avro Lancaster, the steadfast Handley Page Halifax, and the versatile Vickers Wellington. But behind the valour lies a chilling truth. Death was a constant companion, claiming around 50,000 lives from Bomber Command alone. Young airmen shared nervous laughter, knowing each mission could be their last. Now their spirits are said to haunt these forgotten bases, their presence as real as the crumbling concrete beneath your feet. Today the echoes of their sacrifices resonate through the deserted control towers and crumbling runways. The spirits of these fallen airmen are said to linger, their presence woven into the fabric of local folklore. Prepare yourselves for a journey into Lincolnshire's haunted airfields, where the veil between past and present is thin, and the brave souls of yesteryear refuse to fade into history. Their stories of heroism, tragedy, and unfinished business await those daring enough to listen. Will you hear the whispers on the wind, or catch a glimpse of the phantom Lancaster on its final flight? The ghosts of Bomber County are calling. Are you brave enough to answer? Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Claire and this is the Wanderlust Way. So today we are in Lincolnshire, which some of you may already know is nicknamed the Bomber County. It played a huge role in the war efforts, both World War I and World War II, because it is here in Lincolnshire, across these vast open horizons, there were scattered many airfields. Obviously, during the war, many lives were lost, and there are lots of stories to share. Now, in this mini-series, we're going to be exploring some of these haunted airfields here in Lincolnshire, and we're going to share those ghost stories that are associated with such sites. It's going to be a difficult video to film, I'm going to be honest, because some of these stories I'm going to share with you are very sad, and many people have lost their lives in this county and in the skies over Lincolnshire. So we're looking at ghost planes, we're looking at phantom airmen, we're looking at haunted buildings, and much more. So that's enough waffle, let's wander. Welcome friends to RAF Wickenby, where as you approach you will see that they have a memorial outside which says RAF Wickenby number 1 Group Bomber Command 1942 to 1945 in memory of 1,080 men of 12E 626 squadrons who gave their lives on operations from this airfield in the offensive against Germany and the liberation of occupied Europe. Today, RAF Wickenby may seem an unlikely haunt for restless spirits. The control tower, once a nerve centre of wartime operations, now serves coffee to curious visitors. Fields that once trembled with the roar of mighty engines now whisper only with the wind. But don't be deceived by this peaceful facade. Beneath the surface, Wickenby harbours a tragic past, and many say the ghosts of its fallen airmen refuse to fade into history. During the dark days of World War II, Wickenby was one of Lincolnshire's vital air stations, its runways dominated by the mighty Lancaster bombers of 12 and 626 squadrons. Young men, barely more than boys, embarked on perilous missions over enemy territory. For 1,080 of them, these would be their final flights. Today, a sombre memorial stands in tribute, but some believe their presence lingers in ways far more tangible than stone and inscription. What I find really humbling about RAF Wickenby is this memorial walk that they have as you approach, which pays tribute to the many men and women who have lost their lives here. As twilight falls, the airfield is said to come alive with ghostly activity. Visitors have reported shadowy figures pacing the abandoned runways, while the faint glow of a cigarette appears in the darkness, only for the airman holding it to vanish into thin air. The echoes of wartime melodies drift on the breeze, sung by voices long lost to time. Even the control tower, now repurposed, cannot shake its haunted past. Mysterious knocks and phantom footsteps echo through its walls, and in the dead of night, the eerie tapping of Morse code whispers through the silence. The apparitions here are as diverse as they are chilling. A phantom mechanic has been spotted, sprinting towards long demolished hangars, only to be disappeared into thin air. A lone pilot, still clad in his 1940s uniform, silently enters the control room before vanishing up the stairs. Perhaps most unnerving are the reports from motorists on nearby roads, who speak of a ghostly hitchhiker, an airman forever trying to make his way back to base. One of the most famous encounters involves Michael Bentine, later of the Goon Show, who worked at Wickenby as an intelligence officer. One night, Bentine exchanged greetings with his colleague, Pop, only to discover the next morning that Pop had died 2 days earlier. This blurring of lines between the living and the dead seems to permeate Wickenby's very essence. The past clings tenaciously to RAF Wickenby, refusing to be forgotten. Here the veil between worlds seems gossamer thin, especially as dusk settles over the old runways. Perhaps the spirits that linger are not trapped, but simply unwilling to leave their posts, forever standing watch over the skies they once defended with their lives. As you wander the grounds of this haunted airfield, listen closely. That faint drone in the distance? Is it merely the wind? Or is it the ghostly echo of Lancaster engines returning from their final mission? There are many tales of phantom hitchhikers in English ghost folklore, and today we're here at RAF Metheringham to tell of one such tale. On a desolate stretch of road near RAF Metheringham, a chilling figure is said to appear. She stands by the roadside, waiting, watching. Those who have seen her call her the Metheringham Lass, a name popularised by author Bruce Barrymore Halpenny in his 1986 book Ghost Stations. But her story is no ordinary ghost tale. RAF Metheringham, operational from 1942 to 1945, was home to 106 Squadron. Today, little remains of the airfield, just fragments of its runways and a quiet memorial resting on the old perimeter track. Yet as night falls, something from the past still lingers. Witnesses describe the Metheringham Lass as a young woman barely out of her teens, wearing a green coat with RAF Wings badge pinned to her lapel, and a grey scarf wrapped around her neck. She is most often seen between 9:30 and 10 p.m, standing at the roadside where the airfield once lay. Cyclists, motorists, and even pedestrians have all reported the same unnerving encounter. She steps forward, distressed, pleading for help. Her fiancé, she says, has crashed his motorbike nearby and lies injured, waiting for someone, anyone, to come to his aid. But before help can arrive, she vanishes into the night. Some say she leaves behind the scent of lavender, quickly turning foul like decaying flesh. Others recall an even more terrifying detail. When they looked into her face, her eyes were missing, nothing but empty black hollows staring back. Halpenny's book tells us that near the end of the war, a young woman named Catherine Bystock, just 19 years old, was indeed thrown from her fiancé's motorcycle in a tragic accident, breaking her neck upon impact. It was she who died that night, not him. And yet her restless spirit seems unaware of her fate, forever searching the lonely road for the love she lost. Local villagers whisper of her presence, avoiding the stretch of road where she met her tragic end. Some refuse to travel there after dark, because those who do may just find her waiting, desperate for help, desperate for someone to listen, before she fades once more into the shadows of history. We are now at RAF East Kirkby on one of the runways here. Now, this airfield has been dubbed possibly the most haunted in the country by TV's most haunted historian, Richard Felix. And there are lots of ghostly stories to share, but there's one thing in particular that happened on this airfield on the 17th of April 1945, just shortly before the end of the Second World War, which I would like to particularly talk about with you. Once a vital stronghold for Bomber Command, RAF East Kirkby now stands as a silent sentinel to a bygone era. Established in August 1943, this vast airfield became a crucible of courage and home to the brave men of 57 and 630 squadrons. 3 intersecting runways stretched across the Lincolnshire countryside, a concrete spider's web from which Lancaster bombers would launch into perilous skies. For many young airmen, East Kirkby was their final departure point, one from which they would never return. Of the 212 operations flown from this base, 121 Lancasters failed to come home, their crews lost to the unforgiving night. Today, East Kirkby stands as a place of remembrance. Memorials at its entrance honour those who served and sacrificed. The site now houses the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre, where visitors can walk among the ghosts of the past. Here you can feel the vibrations of Just Jane, a Lancaster bomber that still taxis the runway as if preparing for one last mission. Yet, for all its tributes and preservation, something unseen lingers in the shadows. Strange green lights are said to flicker in the darkness, phantom footsteps echo through the restored control tower, and a lone figure in a USAF uniform has been seen crossing the airfield, only to vanish into thin air. Perhaps a spectral remnant of the 3917 Air Base Squadron that operated here until 1958. But the most tragic chapter of East Kirkby's story unfolded on April 17, 1945. As the war neared its end, death dealt one final cruel blow. As crews here prepared for a raid on Chemnitz in Germany, a 1,000-pound bomb was accidentally dropped during loading. The resulting explosion destroyed 6 Lancasters, claimed 3 lives, and wounded 16 others. Many believe the spirits of those lost still walk these grounds, their mission eternally unfinished. Visitors have reported shadowy figures moving among the ruins of old runways. In the stillness of night, some claim to hear the distant murmur of men preparing for flights that will never take off. East Kirkby is more than an airfield. It's a portal to the past, where the line between history and the supernatural is said to blur. Here the ghosts of Bomber Command still tell their stories to those who dare to listen. As you stand on the grounds where over 55,000 men of Bomber Command gave their lives, remember, in places like Lincolnshire, the past is never truly gone. We've come to RAF Colby Grange now, where there have been multiple sightings of various different ghosts. So we'll have a little look around and we'll tell you those stories. Built in 1939, RAF Colby Grange served as a vital fighter and night fighter airfield during World War II. Positioned along the western edge of the A15 between Colby and Nocton Heath, it played a crucial role in protecting Lincolnshire's bomber airfields. The station saw RAF, Canadian and Polish units equipped with various aircraft, including Defiants, Beaufighters and Mosquitoes. After the war, it briefly became a Thor missile base before closing in 1963. Here at Colby Grange, it is said it is one of the most active sites of ghostly apparitions in Lincolnshire. Now, it's been investigated by multiple teams because there have been sounds, there have been sightings of actual airmen, and even during World War II, when it was active, they were experiencing phenomena. Today, the derelict control tower stands as a lonely sentinel, guarding secrets of the past and perhaps something more. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures peering from the upstairs windows, as if watching over the long, empty runways. Footsteps echo through the top corridor when no one is there, and stones, yes, actual stones, have been thrown at people from an unseen force. Paranormal investigators who have spent time here have recorded unusual noises, bangs and disembodied voices. Some have even described an overwhelming sense of unease, as if they are being watched. But perhaps the most chilling story of all is linked to the control tower's staircase. Now, these stairs in particular, lots of ghostly things happening here because it is said that a man died on these stairs, and people are saying that they have experiencing headaches. Now, I'm not going to lie, I am getting a little bit of a strange, I'm not psychic by the way, but I am getting very oppressive vibes on this staircase, whether it's just because it feels very closed in, I don't know. Legend has it that a man fell to his death here, and ever since people have experienced strange sensations when approaching the stairs. Sudden pains, a pressure in the chest, or an unexplained urge to turn back. And of course, there are the sightings, a dark figure lingering on the steps before vanishing into thin air. Could this be the restless spirit of the man who died here, forever trapped within the tower? There is also the ghost of an RAF officer seen in full uniform haunting the observation tower. Some believe he returns annually, burdened by guilt over the young lives lost under his command. A tragic figure watching over the airfield, reliving a past he can never change. One witness, Cliff Sims from Mansfield, shared his chilling experience in Bruce Barrymore Halpenny's book Ghost Stations. He wrote, "I went into the old wartime control tower at Colby Grange near Lincoln on my own. I am not a squeamish man, but I did not stop in there very long. In every room that I entered, I got the feeling I was not alone. And it was a lovely sunny day, and I shudder to think what it would be like at night." And I have to say, having been here myself now, that I agree. It is not somewhere you'd want to settle down for a picnic, let's put it that way. About 5 minutes down the road from RAF Colby, you'll find the graveyard at a little village called Scopwick, and this is where many of those service personnel were buried. Here at Scopwick, the past catches up with you in a more solemn way and jolts us into remembering why we're here in the first place. The graveyard here holds the final resting places of many airmen who served at Colby Grange. Among them lies John Gillespie McGee Jr., the poet who penned the classic aviation poem High Flight. These graves serve as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made during the war. RAF Colby Grange stands as one of Lincolnshire's most haunted airfields, its abandoned control tower a focal point for paranormal activity. Remember though that ghostly encounters often go unrecorded. If you have any experiences to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. We will read them all. Now, as we conclude this segment, our journey through Lincolnshire's haunted airfields is far from over. Next week, we'll embark on the final chapter of our ghostly exploration, delving deeper into the stories of countless souls lost across this county's vast expanse of long-abandoned airfields. With the number of human casualties, it's no wonder these airfields are steeped in paranormal activity. From the young men who never returned from their missions, to those who perished in tragic accidents on home soil, their spirits seem to linger, forever searching for the place that they're meant to be. As we prepare to bid farewell to these haunting tales, let's remember the sacrifices made by those who served, not just in the skies, but on the ground as well. Their stories echo through time, reminding us of the true cost of war. Until we meet again, keep your eyes on the horizon and your ears open for whispers from the past. And as the sun sets on these hollowed grounds, let's recall the words of Vera Lynn. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. So that is it. Thank you to everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do stick around because next week we will have part 2 on the way, if you haven't had enough ghost stories already. And if anybody has got any spooky stories, anything that's happened to them, paranormal or just something a little bit unusual on any of the RAF air bases across the country, then do let us know in the comments because it's always an interesting topic for discussion. All right, have a great week everyone. Bye bye.